Chrissy Swan Show.
Let's go clicking.
Chrissy's Clickbait.
Everybody stand down. The marriage between Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry's fine.
Is it?
As I said last week, there were all these stories about how she said in her Sydney show, in her Melbourne show, I think it was. There was this songs about a recent breakup and Tim Tams saved me. And there was something in her voice when she said that where I was like, she's fine. She's talking about a completely different relationship. Also, I got the feeling that was just a paid thing from Tim Tams.
Do you think?
Yeah, I do.
But is it just a generic thing that these Americans do when they come to Australia? They try to be relatable to us?
It could be that, but have you noticed that whoever does the publicity for Arnott's and Tim Tams is very bloody good?
They're great.
It's the best, really, that I've ever experienced. And I reckon they've just said to her, here you go, and she's done that.
Yeah, no.
There was something in her voice that was not very serious. And Orlando has just touched down in Perth.
Right, because it's her final Australian show this evening in Perth.
I knew that when I was looking at the dates for her tour, I thought, God, she's here for a long time. That has flown.
It's flown, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has.
But she's on
her way out.
Yeah, she's nearly done.
He says, look, the articles are all like, he's going to have a heart-to-heart talk with her. There's been a rough patch. I don't know whether there is.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
And I think maybe her PR team were just leaning into it around the time of those stories.
Yeah, because you believe she is a machine like that.
Yeah, and I don't believe that about many people. I think everyone goes, that's a PR relationship. They're doing this for PR. I think a lot of the time that's BS. But when it comes to Katy Perry, I think it could be real.
Yeah, she's, look, if you can't beat them, join them, I think is her ethos.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Margaret Cho. She's a brilliant stand-up comedian that's been working for 7,000 years. If you're not across her work, you should be. She's very good, isn't she?
She is. I like her.
She sat down and had a chat on a podcast about Ellen DeGeneres. And our vibe is that Ellen DeGeneres really isn't very generous.
No, correct.
See what I did there? And it turns out that it's true. I think we're having some technical issues, so we can't play any grabs.
I really thought I was going to get through a week with my mouse working, but apparently that is just not the case.
Well, I can just talk about it because I've heard the grabs. Margaret Cho has said that Ellen was not very generous with her back in the day, and she's always been a bit odd with Margaret in terms of supporting. Margaret Cho went on her show and Ellen pretended that she didn't know her, even though Margaret had opened for Ellen on tour.
That's so rude. I know people that do that in real everyday life. And I think it's just the height of rudeness and entitlement.
Before I judge, though, do you remember? I didn't remember having a regular segment with Steve Izard.
I do. I always think of that when these types of stories come up.
I just had so many kids and so much work, and then he came into the studio and I was like, it's really a thrill to meet you. And he goes, what are you talking about? So I feel like I've got to give the benefit of the doubt.
You do. And with someone like you can. But when it comes to Ellen, she has lost any right or privilege to the benefit of the doubt.
And also, she didn't have kids and wasn't losing her mind.
No.
I don't think. Further to this, she did something very, you can't excuse this one. So Margaret Cho had gone to a David Bowie show dressed as an emperor. She's magical. And then David Bowie had appeared on Ellen DeGeneres' show and said how much he loved that.
Oh, cool.
Ellen asked the producers to edit that out so it didn't go to air.
Oh, we're a little bit jealous of Margaret, clearly.
I think so. And the only reason Margaret Cho knew that had happened was because she had a friend on the show and she said, look, David Bowie came on. He waxed lyrical about you for ages and Ellen has made us take it out.
Yeah, no, she's not a nice person.
It's very obvious, isn't it?
The Chrissy Swan Show. The Chrissy Swan Show.
Let's go clicking.
Hey, we've got Maccas in the studio for you.
I'm so happy.
That's your definition of fun. That's as good as it's going to get, man.
True.
Chrissy's Clickbait.
And also, you were spot on. 3:40
I guessed.
when it arrived. How can you be so accurate?
Because it is my third day of ordering Maccas.
All right, Miley Cyrus has been slammed for being not very friendly to her fans. got a few questions about this. So she went to an album signing.
Yep.
And these used to happen with almost every book and every album. You go to a shop and you turn up, you buy the album, and whoever the artist is behind the book or album, they sign it for you. I cannot believe somebody as huge as Miley Cyrus turned up to a shop in London called Rough Trade East Music Store and Bar, and people were just coming up to a trestle table. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's quite something. I wonder, though, is it because of who she was with? I wonder if there's some connection to that bar because she was sitting with Naomi Campbell for the signing.
Naomi Campbell is, obviously a global phenomenon, as a supermodel. She appears on the album singing.
Yeah. The song's called Every Girl You've Ever Loved.
She's got a great voice. Anyway, so they were both there, and I mean, Naomi Campbell is signing the albums as well, which is hilarious to me, given that she just sings a little song.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Anyway, they gas-bagged through the entire thing like they were out for lunch and deeply inconvenienced by the long queue of people standing there feebly in the foreground while a photograph was taken. They barely drew breath from their chat.
And they barely made eye contact with the fan. But my favourite part was who I'm going to imagine was Miley's personal assistant standing there saying this.
Right behind you for your picture, Gorge. Right behind you. 1, 2, 3. There you go.
She said that about 400 times to every single person. I mean, look, in fairness to Miley, she has said she doesn't like touring and she doesn't like the face-to-face part of it. And also the reasons behind that is, she said, it just makes her feel insecure and inferior that all these people are coming to adore her. This is exactly what this is in a smaller
Agreed.
scale.
I'm shocked she agreed to do this.
I am too.
And also, she shouldn't do it because look what happens. You just generate bad BS headlines.
Yeah. I mean, look, she did look down the lens for every single photo. I've got to give her that.
Okay, that's
She
good.
just didn't want to be there. Okay, so Tammy Hembrow, that's a name that I really like.
It's a great name.
And I didn't know really who she was or what she did, but she, I like her. I like her. I've looked into her over this weekend and I like her very much.
She's one of like the Aussie OG influencers and YouTubers.
Yeah. She's a Gold Coast girl, I think it
Yes.
looks like from her Instagram. She has announced that she has split with her husband. She had a new husband after they've only been together, married for 7 months.
Yeah.
Very, very quick. And you would know his face. His name's Matt Zakowski. And he was on Love Island.
Yes.
The first series of that.
And he now has a podcast with Nova.
Oh, yes, he does too. That is true. Anyway, she is very sad about it and she didn't want the divorce, but it's open to it's open to suggestion as to what happened when a woman has to divorce her husband and doesn't want to. But when I was on my deep dive, I realised that I recognise her father. So there's an Australian actor, and you may not know his name, but you would know his face because he's been in bloody everything. His name is James Hembrow.
Right.
And I'm going to show you his face, Jack. You've seen him in everything.
Oh, yeah, he is just one of those guys, you know his face, but that's it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find the biggest ones. Well, he was on The Young Doctors for starters, so if you're of a certain age, you will, know that. But he was in that, like we're talking Man from Snowy River,
Right.
two. He's been on every television show. He's been in a movie called Swimming Upstream, which was really, really big. And I just didn't know that she was part of Aussie TV and movie royalty. I had no idea. He was in GP. Do you remember GP? Probably.
No.
Anyway, Google James Hembrow and you go, oh my God, yes, of course I know him.
Love it. Good little tidbits, Swanee.
Yes.
Hey, keep it locked. Ricky, Lee, Tim and Joel are up next. We've got some macas to eat.
Damn straight.
Now check this out.
The Chrissy Swan Show is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.